Sleep is important, procrastination is bad, and resilience is something you're not born with. Those are the three topics of today's vlog, and welcome back. This is day 31 on this journey. So, sleep is important. Why? How? What's the measurable truth there? So, in 1989, there was a study on sleep deprivation and how it affects exercise performance. And it was done by two scientists. I can't recall their names, both of something Germanic or Swedish. Anyway, they found a few things, and three major points, three key points they found to be common across all of the subjects was that sleep deprivation when exercising reduces, actually regardless of exercising, it reduces your reaction times. Everyone knows this. This is a given thing. When you're tired, everything, you feel slow and sluggish. So it reduces reaction time. So any sort of movement is naturally impacted as a result of that. Secondly, it reduces aerobic endurance. So if you're trying to run somewhere, or it doesn't have to be somewhere, it can just be on the treadmill, or even just walking briskly, or if you're on the Stairmaster, any aerobic exercise that requires endurance of any extent, that's reduced. You won't be able to perform like you normally would expect to if you weren't sleep deprived. And lastly, they found that it also reduces muscular strength. So I didn't read into the details of why or how it reduces muscular strength, but I have a feeling it's somehow tied to the whole reduction of reaction times, in that the brain is overrun, it's overtired, it just doesn't have the resources, the energy to fire signals at the muscles and tell them to completely engage and lift heavy weights. So yeah, those are three major factors that sleep deprivation affects. So the takeaway from that is get more sleep, or get a decent amount of sleep, but don't waste time like I did in my late teens, sleeping till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That was just pure stupidity. Then secondly, or the second topic I should say, about procrastination, but actually not just procrastination, it's the let's call it the act of not doing something. You're sitting there thinking about something, and then you get distracted, and nothing ever happens. So let's call procrastination versus taking action. So in 2007 there was a meta-analytical review of self-regulatory failure. Now what the fuck does that mean? That means it's people had self-documented how and when and why they failed to do certain tasks, and this study was basically an analysis of the results of those individual studies. And the one thing that seemed to be found across all of the studies was that procrastination was very common. The majority of cases reported that people spend more time thinking about doing things than actually doing something, because I suppose if anything requires physical effort to do, it's a lot easier to not do that physical effort or not carry out the task and just think about it, because as we know from the social reality effect, thinking about something or talking about something that you're thinking about doing or want to do can in some cases produce the same amount, or at least release the same amount of feel good hormones, as in dopamine basically, and make your body think like it's doing it. So, like people who talk about giving to charity, they feel good about it, but they rarely ever carry on with the actions. They rarely ever actually donate or whatever. And so I've got some notes here. Yeah, because I wanted some structure in this video, which is good. So, yeah, the two byproducts of the reports of the self-regulatory failure, i.e. people who they identify when they fail, they write it down, blah blah. They reported that they felt low self-efficacy, as in they had a low drive or low intent or zero intent maybe of actually completing anything or reaching any result. So in the day-to-day runnings of, be it their work tasks or errands around the house, that kind of thing, they saw a lower level of completedness, I suppose. So yeah, obviously, like I said, procrastination leads to feeling good about something, but when it comes to actually doing it, it doesn't feel as fun as such, so you don't do it. And the other side effect, or whatever it is, the other symptom that was reported is high levels of distraction. So when you're procrastinating, you're overthinking something, it's very easy to, I don't want to say jump onto, more like fall into a different train of thought, in that your brain is capable of processing many thoughts at any given second. And if you allow it to run free with whatever external information it receives and just imagine and run wild and think about it for minutes or hours on end, that those distraction levels can be infinite. So after completing the study, get out of the way, fella. After completing this meta-analysis, the professor or scientist or whoever looked at it or collated all the information put forward two, let's call it, counteractions to procrastination. Two things you can do easily to take more action. And the first one is goal setting. So not just big goals like 5-year plans or whatever, but you can set a goal for what you want to achieve, say at the end of the day. You can set a goal for what you want to achieve at the end of the hour. So if you really wanted to, you can have like let's dumb it down. You have a weekly goal of, I've gone to the gym 3 times this week. Now, when you look at that, say it's Monday morning, you look at 3 times this week, and you think, oh God, I have to go to the gym 3 times this week. That just seems too much. When am I going to fit it in? Well, that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Break it down. Then look at your schedule for each and every day. Say we're still on Monday. You know that on Monday evening you're going to have some free time. So you set another goal for the Monday, and you say, okay, on the Monday I want to go to the gym once, and then you set some more goals for, say, then the Wednesday and the Friday, just to space them out nicely. So you break down the goals, and then to aid you in reaching your goals or achieving them, you can set other goals to assist in them. So one trick I learned a few years ago was, if you want to, especially if you don't want to go to the gym, but you know deep down that you should go to the gym, then what you do is the day before you prepare your gym gear or your gym bag, whatever it is that you need to take to the gym, change your clothes, towel, water, you name it. Prepare it the day before, so when it comes to having to actually go to the gym, you don't have to worry about getting everything ready because it's already there. And then you set a goal for the day of either going for a walk, or you literally set a goal of just walking to the gym, right? And then chances are, if you got a goal like going for a walk, say, well, okay, I might as well take my gym bag with me. I walk to the gym, go to the gym, 2 goals knocked off. You get the idea. Anyway, that's enough on goal setting. The second point, or second action they, let's say not developed, but pinpointed, that seemed to be effective, was self-monitoring, or as is known in the modern day, or more commonly known, shall I say, as habit tracking. And there are tons of habit tracking apps available on phones or your computer, or you even get habit tracking notebooks. So you basically write down or you define a habit that you want to develop, and then you just make sure you track it all the time. So every day that you practice or action the habit, you give it a tick. Wait for the next day, do the same, carry on, etc. And life goes on. So yeah, if you find yourself thinking about things too much and not taking enough action, set some goals, track your habits. That's the best place to start. And then finally, resilience being something you're not born with. So in 2008 there was a sociological study on disaster preparation and recovery from disaster, and what the professor, scientist, whoever, doctor found was that resilience, that ability to bounce back or recover from, be it disaster or a minor setback, major setback, any type of step back, that's not something we know how to carry out, how to act, how to do from birth. It's not something that like an animal knows how to feed by merely copying other animals of the same species or whatever. Or like fish for instance have the innate ability to swim like straight out the egg, kind of thing. It's a bad example, but resilience is almost like it's a higher power thinking. It's the ability to look at failure and say, nah, not today, I'm carrying on, and then coming back, being better, bouncing back and putting up a fight. So yeah, resilience is not an innate trait as such. Rather, it is a set of developed skills and behaviors that you pick up through life experience. Obviously, you can actively develop these skills or behaviors through the aforementioned habit tracking, or if you happen to find yourself in a lot of shit situations where bad things happen, chances are you'll be able to bounce back and recover from, let's call it, disasters really easily. That's why a lot of the most successful people in this world, a lot of successful people tend to come from really, let's say, dire backgrounds, or let's say broken families, or they were foster kids, or they came from poor upbringings, etc. They had a lot of setbacks. There was a lot of disaster, so to speak, early on in life, and they learned at an early age how to recover from that and how to bounce back and how to be better, essentially. So yeah, it's something that someone who is fed from a silver spoon from a very young age may never learn in their life or never develop. And then there are 3 points that were pointed noted by the researcher for how to sort of kickstart a recovery phase after disaster or a setback. And number 1 is to maintain a positive outlook. A bit like Ryan Holiday said in The Obstacle is the Way. with every setback or obstacle, every negative thing that happens, find the positivity in it and act on it. So maintain a positive outlook. Secondly, seek social support. That's probably one thing that most people will not or cannot or just outright don't want to do. Like, be it asking friends, family, whoever, just for, be it mental support, comforting, monetary support, whatever. Just ask, basically. At worst, they're going to say no, and then what? You're no worse off than you were before. Eventually, there's only so many no's you can get before someone says yes to a request, and then, hey ho, there you go, you've got some help. And then, finally, a good practice is to remain adaptable or flexible in the face of change. So when there is change or setbacks or disaster or whatever, if you are flexible and adaptable, then you are far less likely to be negatively affected by said disaster or negative experience. So yeah, flexibility, adaptability, seeking social assistance, let's call it that, and maintaining a positive outlook. Anyway, those are the 3 topics that I wanted to speak about. There's a bus up here doing funny things on the road. I'm going to pass him. Not sure what's going on there. Yeah, that's been day 31 of my vlogging journey. Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. And I'll be back tomorrow for day 32. So if you've watched this far, thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying it so far, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you enjoy the most. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because there's a lot more of these where that came from. And yeah, like I said, leave a comment. I'd like to hear, I'd like to get some feedback. Would really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. That's enough from me. You have a great Friday ahead. It is Friday. It is Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. So have a great weekend ahead as well. And I will catch up with you in the next one tomorrow.